Make some more noise for AraabMuzik one time. That's right. Well, we're switching it up, AraabMuzik. Welcome to Open Late Live from ComplexCon. I am Peter Rosenberg, and we are switching it up. I'm very excited. I'm not wasting any time. You want to do it big at ComplexCon, you got to go A-list. You have to go A-list. This is the Emmy-nominated star. You may know him from Black Panther. You may know him from Creed. Or this Thanksgiving's Creed 2. Give it up for my guy, Michael B Jordan! Yeah.
What's up? How you guys doing? Good. Good.
That's what A-list looks like, ladies and gentlemen. That's A-list denim. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Just ripping and running right now. Just got back in town and out here promoting the movie and feeling good.
So I just asked you when I saw you backstage, are you currently in Creed shape, Killmonger shape? What level?
I'm in Brian Stevenson shape, which I just got finished shooting this movie, Just Mercy. So I dropped like 20 pounds, and the oversized jacket doesn't help. But yeah, I'm looking a little slim.
I was gonna say you're disgraceful. No, I have to ask you, how do you discipline yourself? Like, you talk about it very casually, like, oh, well, I do Killmonger, I gotta do this. When I do Creed, I gotta get shredded and look more like a boxer. It all sounds really good, but like, to those of us who are like mortal human beings, how are you disciplined enough to affect your body so drastically?
I mean, I think it's honestly the pressure that it's gonna be seen on screen and immortalized in cinema. The fact that it's gonna be a role that everybody's gonna have, go into a theater and watch, and it's gonna be DVDs, it's gonna be on TV eventually, and that lives forever. So that kind of like impression, you wanna make a good impression. And I think the discipline just comes from, this is the work ethic, something I've always kind of had, with like the challenge of like trying to be the best, whether I am or not, or if it becomes that. In my brain, I gotta believe that I'm gonna do something that's great.
Earlier, before you came out, I was publicly felt up by a sound man.
Felt up?
Yeah.
Okay.
And had I known that was gonna happen, maybe I would have felt that same motivation. But I just find it amazing, because when I saw Black Panther and saw how huge you were, like, I met you in real life, and then you looked like a different person. And just seeing someone who's so, capable of transforming themselves amazes me. Working with Sly, though, how much does he take it beyond just being an actor and being influential in the way you work? Or is he just like, one of the guys acting? No,
I mean, Sly is one of those things that he knows fight boxing more than anybody. I mean, with the Rocky films, I mean, he's mastered what a boxing film should be and what those fights are like. So we really leaned on him in that regard as far as, choreography, how to actually capture the fights, how do you get those emotions, and then you team that up with Steven's vision to how we want those fights to go and how these characters, how we want them to grow. But yeah. So Sly was definitely, a huge part of a lot of the physical aspects of the movie, and character too, man. I mean, Sly's a genius, man. He knows a lot about this world. He's created these characters, and now it's just trying to taking what he started, the foundation, and just elevating it and telling it through a different lens.
What's your favorite Rocky movie? Pre you being involved, what was your favorite Rocky?
4. Because I think it was the most exciting to me. I think it was a lot of action going on. It was all the stuff going on with the Cold War stuff, and I really saw how cinema and the power of movies and how it can really influence and affect people and everyday life and history. And that's what a film like Rocky IV did. So it was kind of cool. So
Drago, Dolph Lundgren's actually back.
He is.
What was it like getting to work with him? What's Drago like in real life?
Really calm and low key.
Well, it's because he's like a robot. They made him.
He's a machine.
He was made to be perfect Russian athlete.
He was and he takes all that stuff really lightly. He's really a funny guy. I think because we are used to seeing him in such a serious, machine-like role, when when he's a regular guy walking around set, he's like cracking jokes, and you think it's like, well, why are you laughing? Why are you smiling? But to see him and Sly together, now that's gold.
Well, just to see them kicking it?
Oh man, just to see them, because they give each other shit all the time, because they're talking about stuff from 30 years ago, and they're having like these running jokes that nobody else has any clue what they're talking about, but they're just like cracking up like two kids in school. So their dynamic is really interesting.
Any chance that they throw hands again 30 years later?
I mean, there's a chance.
Okay. Just want to know.
Yeah, it's cool.
There's a chance.
Just saying.
I mean, I can change, he can change, we can all change.
We can all change.
But we don't always change. Did you ever imagine, though, like when you were a kid watching these movies, 'cause I was obsessed with Rocky as a kid. And I'd say when I was young, 4 was my favorite. And then as I got older, 1.
Yeah.
Like when you...
The original underdog, you know?
Yeah, when you don't realize when you're a kid that you're watching like one of the greatest like love stories.
Exactly.
You think it's a boxing... You think Rocky 1's a boxing movie as a kid. And then as you get older, you realize Rocky 1's a love story, and the other ones are really boxing.
There's like 8 minutes of boxing in the first movie.
Yeah.
Or like something small like that. It's not a lot of boxing in the first one.
No, it's all about, like, to me, that movie is defined by their first kiss, like their awkward kiss that they have. You know, and these two people that are just so different. Be honest, you guys are super young. How many of y'all have seen the original Rocky, 1976? Raise your hand.
Hey, there it is.
Okay. Some cultural people in this room. But is it crazy for you to think about that all these years later, this would now be something like this brand is something that you will be tied to forever. Michael B. Jordan and this whole overall Rocky Creed brand is going to be it'll be a part of your life forever.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? It's a little insane when I sit and think about it, and I think that's the pressure that kind of that's looming over me that makes me want to be great and really take this franchise seriously and have my own franchise. You know, my own imprint and impact on the film industry and cinema history. You know, I have the opportunity to do that, and it just kind of drives me to always try to put my best foot forward.
So last time I talked to you was, I think, like right either the week before Black Panther came out or right.
It was like right before Black Panther came out.
Yeah, like so. I knew it was a big deal because the conversation was getting to like a fevered pitch. Yeah, you have water over there.
All right, cool.
But I don't think I could have really imagined how big Black Panther was going to be. Did you?
Nah.
Like when did it dawn on you like, okay, this is a really huge cultural thing?
I think when I started seeing the memes and everybody doing like, like dressed up in the dashikis and like all the Coming to America little like gifts and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, these things are going viral. This is going to be a thing. And then you start seeing little kids. I think when I saw the little kids dressed up like Black Panther and Dora Milaje and little Killmongers and stuff running around with the permanent marker beards, that blew my mind, and it really it was really inspiring. Really, really inspiring.
One thing I think is funny is that very often actors are keenly aware that they're playing a character. No one gets confused that like Michael B. Jordan is Killmonger. But at the same time, when you discuss those characters, you do often find that the actors defend some of the motives of the character, right?
Yeah.
Killmonger as a person.
That was a leading question. Right there. That was the setup.
Well, there are a lot of people who see a lot of upside to Killmonger and kind of relate to a lot of what he says on a variety of levels, even though there is a messed up part about his personality. He's ultimately represents the disenfranchised to a certain extent, and people who have been separated. So what were your thoughts on the character beneath the surface a little bit?
I mean, honestly, Killmonger's perspective was that of, the African Americans, the lost tribes that didn't grow up with the culture and the protection of Wakanda, and the vibranium, those resources that was never colonized. Eric, I thought I heard something. Sorry. Yeah, Eric was, as a black man in America, I'm a part of that diaspora, and Killmonger's hurt and pain of being systematically oppressed. He's a product of his environment, so to be able to put that pain into a character where anybody who's ever been oppressed, and to make him relatable, and people can have empathy for why he feels the way he feels. He's just an extreme version of that. It's a comic book film as well, so it has to be extreme in a lot of ways. So to kind of take those feelings, those personal feelings, that personal pain, I did a lot of growing through that movie, through that part, through the conversations that was had, through the cast who are native of Africa, and a lot of the cast that are African American, and what that meant to be African. Like that is a question that Ryan, wanted to answer during this film, throughout this film, and to be a part of that conversation, we found ourselves talking about things that I didn't even know I needed to hear. I didn't even know that was a conversation that needed to be had. Because T'Challa and Killmonger are cousins. You know, what would have it been like if they grew up together? You know, Eric was very envious of what T'Challa had. You know, he why didn't he get a chance to have, you know, the warm bed, and, you know, instead of going from foster care to foster care, not knowing who, his parents were, et cetera, you know, not really having his parents being taken from him at a really young age.
And of course, for those who aren't catching on to everything, it represents a much broader question about the African-American experience.
1,000%, and it actually started a conversation between Africa and African-Americans that we're having now that I don't think would have been had, we wouldn't have been having it now if it wasn't for this film. So I think it's really gonna start to unify. You know, I think
it's pretty crazy when you think about that for a Marvel movie.
Insane, and that was the way in, because I think, you know, without that Marvel banner, you see, like, you know, the comic book pages flipping through in the beginning. Everybody's like, oh man, I'm gonna see a superhero film, you know, and it kind of lets your guard down to get information, to be able to enjoy something and walk away from the movie that you didn't think you were gonna get from it. Because if you know you're gonna watch a documentary or something that's like, oh, you're gonna get some hardcore knowledge about something, you might go into it with your defenses up a little bit, and you might not be open to, you know, hearing what's being said. But if you go into it to go see I'm gonna go see a superhero flick, and then you walk away from it like, man, I gotta go talk to somebody. I need to go. I need to go
some real talk.
Real talk. I think that's the best type of films.
Well, one person who is deeply, make some noise for that. That's fair. One person who was evidently deeply affected by this film is the very brilliant producer and musical director of this show, AraabMuzik. Arab, did you bring?
Yeah, I did.
Wow,
Brought it?
what we got?
Don't say you didn't bring it. Come on, man, bring it up here.
Oh, man.
Arab is such a fan of you in this film that he copped this jacket.
That denim joint, that's clean. That's the real? That's the same one, right? Oh man, that is the one.
You got the actual one.
Oh man.
Now you wanted.
Yeah, I just wanted you to sign it.
Sorry?
Oh man, this is clean. I ain't even got this jacket. No, I know. They OD with taking shit back.
Wait, but Arab, you want him to sign it, right?
Yeah.
He wants you to sign this.
This is my size.
No, you can't steal it as you sign it. You got a Sharpie?
Nah. Yeah, I'll definitely sign it, bro.
Thank you, man.
Oh man.
Where did you get this jacket, Arab?
I'm impressed.
Some spot in the city, Origins.
Origins.
Shout out to Origins.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Man.
Where are you having him sign?
Yo.
That's official.
He feels.
Now, do you still wear this, Arab, with the autograph, or you put this up?
Oh yeah, man.
Respect, bro. Yeah.
Make some noise one time.
Let's go. Yeah, that's clean.
And you gotta hear his record he did with Kendrick on the new Swizz Beatz album.
Is it?
Crazy,
Okay.
crazy.
Oh man.
Now, speaking of which,
Poison.
can we dig through some crates real quick?
Let's do it.
It's time for digging into the crates with Michael B Jordan.
Do it.
Let's I'm gonna grab a record and get your thoughts.
Duke Ellington.
See what you have to say here. Hold on, don't say anything that's not supposed to be the one that I do. Let's do, how about this little ditty right here?
What we got right here?
By young J. Cole.
Oh man. Oh man. This is clean.
For Your
Cole.
Eyes Only.
Cole is like the guy right here. This is just taking me back, man. I mean, I think he's one of the people's champ, man. Like, honestly, Cole is like so, you know, I had the honor of, like, you know what I'm saying, going to see a lot of his shows, and he stopped by set, you know, when we were out in Toronto. We were filming Fahrenheit 451 out that way. And we had some real talks of just about, you know, just the industry and how, you know, things change when you start to get, you know, some success, and how people look at you, and just, you know, what your purpose is, and not being distracted by a lot of the noise. And For Your Eyes Only was one of those albums for me that me just listening to just always kind of kept me grounded. It always kind of reminded me of, you know, kind of where I came from, and like and it's okay to change because you're evolving, you know? Your core stays the same, but it's cool to kind of to ride that wave, because that's life, right? You got to evolve. You can't be the same your entire life. You're going to be around, you know, different people. You're going to see different things. You're going to be influenced by different things. And this is one of the albums.
And I also on the new album, he has a lot of stuff about changing, being aware of that change, and keeping yourself grounded.
Exactly.
Because that presents challenges.
It does.
Unique challenges.
You definitely need challenges, man. But you surround yourself with people that's gonna hold you accountable. You know, it's gonna hold you accountable for who you are and things that you stand for, man. But yeah, this is one of those. I'm gonna treat it with care. I saw you black out on somebody.
Oh, the loose vinyl care?
Yeah, for touching your vinyl.
Yo, by the way, you want to know a really random story?
So,
Before I ever met you, I guess it was only 2 years ago at the All-Star Weekend in
New Orleans?
New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans.
Yes. The All-Star game, most known for me hitting one shot in the celebrity game. I actually randomly saw you on the street on the Saturday night, All-Star Saturday night.
Okay.
And this is so dumb random. and you were with a couple of your friends.
Okay.
And I don't know what you were doing, but it was clear you were trying to take a picture. And my wife and sister-in-law stopped and took a picture of you guys, not knowing who you were. Just like, hey, do you guys want us to take a picture? And then walked away and was like, I think that's that Michael Jordan.
That's random. I'm not gonna.
The picture exists.
Remember. Okay,
no,
cool.
if you go look,
okay,
you're gonna find a picture from the Saturday night, randomly in the street, All-Star Weekend. All right, tell me about this album right here.
Who we got here? What is this? Oh man, Method Man.
Method Man to Cal.
Oh man.
The Italian Stallion, if you will, if you want to tie it all back into Rocky.
I mean, you want to be perfectly honest? I don't think I heard this album.
I thought you were a Method Man fan.
I am a Method Man fan. I fuck with Meth, but I don't.
But you didn't start with his first album?
I don't think I heard his album.
That's the first one?
Am I dating myself?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
No, you are. Listen, you're not playing yourself in that.
No, dating.
Oh, dating yourself.
No, I didn't say playing myself. I said dating.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, no.
No, but I haven't heard of some. Shout out to Meth. That's my guy. I love him.
No, hold on. How long have you known Method Man?
I've known him since 2008, 2009, 2008. We did Red Tails together. And, so that was the first time we actually kind of like met and chilled out. We were over in Prague, Czech Republic, shooting that movie for like 6-7 months, and we were both like fish out of water in a sense, just being in an environment that, it's a little weird over there.
Wait, how old are you now?
I'm 31.
So you were like 21 years old.
21.
Hanging out with Method Man in Prague.
First time out of the country.
Right.
It was intense.
I think we all know the experience the first time you hang out with Method Man in Prague. It brings hash, it gets crazy.
It was definitely a good time. Let's say that.
He is a really cool dude, though.
Yeah,
it's like he really is the character that you would think Method Man would be all the time. Like, he's such a good dude.
He's unapologetically who he is, no matter what environment he's in. It's not something you always gotta respect,
All right, speaking of unapologetic, let's close it out like this.
No code switching for this guy.
Hey, you know what? And you should keep that. Because you should listen to that. That's yours.
I will. Respect.
You need to hear Meth's first album. That's your man. How about we close it out? We're in LA.
That Kendrick, oh, you already know. Ooh, man. This one right here, when I first heard it, I was like, man, whose flow is that? Kendrick's flow is so crazy. Money Trees, for sure. Poetic Justice was going hard. Yeah, I remember just listening to this in Los Angeles, just riding around. I love driving. Anybody that knows me knows I love road trips. I love getting in the car and just driving.
What's the perfect distance road trip for you?
Perfect distance?
Like the Vegas trip?
Nah, because the trip back is horrible. You get, the drive there was like, yeah, Vegas, drive back. It's like, why did I do this? The perfect road trip, I think it's like a solid, depends, because I would drive places and stay the night and then drive back like a day or two later, but maybe 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
4 hours is cool, 3-4
I think 4 is the line. I think you get beyond 4, it's a real...
It's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just enjoy just getting in the car, man, and just listening to music. And I think that's the ultimate test. The test of an album is if you got to blast it in your car while you're driving. If you can't vibe out there, then you can't vibe out nowhere with it.
Yeah, and if you can, honestly, it is the ultimate test, because if you can't let it play,
yeah,
like if you're doing a lot of skipping,
then it's like, okay,
it's not
cool.
that great.
It's not.
This album does not have a skip on it.
Nah, this one is, oh yeah, swimming pools. Oof.
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, no, this is it. Backseat freestyle. And I love the skits in between.
Did you love the Black Panther soundtrack too and how it came together?
I did. I mean, honestly, the way that came together was that was really just Ryan Ludwig Göransson, who's our musical composer, and Kendrick and all the TDE that kind of came together and really he put his fingerprints on it. Like, we gave it to him and we let him really rock out and do it. Obviously, he saw the film and he saw what we were trying to do, and Ryan, being from Oakland, having that kind of that Cali, Valero kind of Northern California vibe was really, really important. So we got that, and I think it was, I can't remember how many tracks was on it, but half of it was for Killmonger and half of it was for Black Panther. So to have like certain songs that were very specific to Killmonger and some that were very specific to Black Panther was very uniquely done. And I don't think I've heard a soundtrack for a film like that before.
I don't know if I ever remember a soundtrack quite like that, where the biggest movie of the time is curated by the biggest artist of the time, and it's done perfectly well, and the song's like, it's not cheesy at all. It's perfect.
It's not right on the nose. It's not like, you know, but
you don't need the movie to listen to the soundtrack, but if you really pay attention and nerd out,
it makes
it's there.
Yep.
All right, so speaking of Kendrick and speaking of Black Panther and being thoughtful and politically aware, you have been out knocking on doors, doing everything you can for Stacey Abrams in Atlanta. Guys, it's election day on Tuesday.
Gotta go vote.
Tuesday.
Please go vote.
And I know it feels like every election day we say this is the most important election day of all time. That's because things keep getting worse, and this is the most important election day of all time. So why was this so important to you, and why is voting in this election so important to you?
I mean, honestly, just, you know, when you have a voice and a platform, you know, sometimes, you know, people tend not to say things or want to get in the line of fire because they're scared of losing their spot or the attention that it may, or the fact that they might, you know, turn people off, et cetera, whatever. At this stage in the game, it's about a better quality of life, man. It's about morals. It's about right and wrong. You gotta know that. And if I could do my part, how big or small, to get people out to vote, to say that your vote matters, you matter, your voice matters. I have to do it. You know, it's not like you said. Things keep getting worse. This is the most important election of my life, you know? Yeah. So I can't look back, you know, 10 years from now, I can't look back and be like, you know, I could have done something to help change or sway. So the fact that I was down in Atlanta and, you know, I teamed up I teamed up down in Atlanta to go around and really support Stacey Abrams, I just jumped at the opportunity. So I had to do it.
Make some noise if you're going to be voting this Tuesday. And we've seen it. The early voting has been at an all-time record.
It's crazy.
Now, listen, that doesn't mean we have to prepare, because you never know what BS is going to try to get pulled in front of us. But God willing, we will actually have everyone's votes counted properly, and we'll be in a better situation come Wednesday than we have been for the last almost 2 years. Creed 2 is coming out Thanksgiving weekend. Make some noise for Michael B. Jordan. Thank you, bro.
Always.
One more time for AraabMuzik. Thank you guys for coming out to Open Late. Shout out to Bruce Mobile. We're switching it up.